57 Saber and Spurs on standby. 57 Saber and Spurs on standby. Just in case we need that.
Station Norfolk, home of the United States Atlantic Fleet and the commissioning of USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr., DDG-124. I am Commander Joseph Mills, the ship's executive officer. It is my privilege to be your master of ceremonies today. We welcome those with us in person and our friends and family as they participate in today's event via the World Wide Web. We are here today to commission the first ship to bear the name of United States Marine and Medal of Honor recipient Colonel Harvey C. Barnum Jr. From the beginning of this ship's construction and throughout her many milestones leading to today's ceremony, Colonel Barnum has been a steadfast presence and a welcome steward of this ship and crew. We have grown to respect and admire him. We stand by, resolute in our promise to carry on his proud legacy and core values of honor, courage, and commitment. We are honored to have several fellow Medal of Honor recipients with us today. Major General James Livingston, United States Marine Corps, retired. Colonel Paris Davis, United States Army, retired. Colonel Walter Marm Jr., United States Army, retired. Lieutenant Colonel William Swenson, United States Army, retired. And Lieutenant Michael Thornton, United States Navy, retired. Gentlemen, please stand and be recognized. We are further honored to recognize former prisoner of war, Commander Everett Alvarez, Jr., United States Navy. Commander, please stand. Would all active duty, veterans, and first responders please stand? Would all military and first responder families please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your service and sacrifice. The first U.S. Navy ship sponsor can be traced to the commissioning of USS Concord in 1828. Concord was the first ship to be christened by a woman, and that tradition continues today. We wish to recognize Miss Ann Zumwalt, the sponsor for USS Zumwalt DDG-1000 and the current president of the Society of Sponsors. Ann is accompanied by several ladies who have the distinct privilege of sponsoring a U.S. Navy ship. Ladies, please stand. Our ceremony today is a time-honored tradition that began with the commissioning of our first warship, a captured British schooner, the Margaretta, in 1775. Since then, thousands of ships have undergone the transformation from silent hulls to fully alive warships. Our commissioning crew, hereafter known as plank owners, are in formation among you and ready to bring our ship to life. In just a few moments, the United States Marine Band will render honors to the Honorable Bobby Scott. Will the guests please rise and remain standing for the arrival of our official party, honors, the presentation of colors, and our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, our platform guests. Abbot Mark Cooper, our ceremony chaplain. Commander Justin Parker, United States Navy, DDG 51 Class Program Manager's Representative, Supervisor of Shipbuilding, Bath. Ms. Lisa Hill Godden, Ms. Jessica Godden-Senzali, Ms. Mackenzie Godden, and joining us remotely, Ms. Hope Hill, our matron and maids of honor. Captain J. A. Young, United States Navy, Arleigh Burke-class Destroyer Shipbuilding Program Manager. Ms. Mary Ellen Baldwin and Captain Louis J. Shager, United States Navy, retired, co-chairs USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr. Commissioning Committee. Mr. Vince Dickinson, Vice President of Supply Chain and Planning, General Dynamics Bath Iron Works. Rear Admiral Brian Metcalf, United States Navy, Deputy Portfolio Acquisition Executive Maritime, Combatants. Mr. Christopher Miller, Portfolio Acquisition Executive Maritime. Vice Admiral Douglas Perry, United States Navy, Commander, U.S. Second Fleet, Commander, Joint Forces Command, Norfolk, Director, Combined Joint Operations from the Sea. Admiral Carl O. Thomas, United States Navy, Commander, U.S. Fleet Forces Command. Admiral James W. Kilby, United States Navy, the Vice Chief of Naval Operations. General Eric M. Smith, United States Marine Corps, the 39th Commandant of the Marine Corps. The Honorable John Phelan, the 79th Secretary of the Navy. Ladies and gentlemen, our ship's sponsor, Ms. Martha E. Hill, and our ship's namesake, Colonel Harvey C. Barnum Jr., United States Marine Corps, retired, escorted today by Command Master Chief Kenson Jacks, USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr., Command Master Chief. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Bobby Scott, United States Representative, Virginia's 3rd District, escorted today by Commander Benjamin R. Cantu, United States Navy, USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr., Commanding Officer. Ladies and gentlemen, honors to the Honorable Bobby Scott. Platform and salute. Platform. Ready, 2. Advance the colors. Retire the colors. Platform ready, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, Abbot Cooper will now deliver the invocation.
Harvey C. Barnum Jr. served his country in 2 separate combat tours in Vietnam. The second, after he had already been provided our nation's highest award for military valor, the Medal of Honor, bestowed upon him for his actions on December 18, 1965, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty. In 1968, Harvey Barnum returned to Vietnam and received Combat and Achievement Awards along with the Purple Heart for wounds received. Let us ask God's blessing on this man, on this ship, honoring his commitment, his valor, and his willingness to sacrifice everything for the good of others. Let us pray. God of all creation, we ask your blessing on Harvey Barnum for his willingness to offer his life that others might enjoy the good things the United States of America provides, and especially the sacred freedoms of faith, speech, assembly, and conscience. Bless Harvey with health and happiness all the days of his life. Bless his wife Martha and their family. Keep them safe and give to all of them the joy that comes with leading a good life, committed to the well-being and happiness of all. Father in heaven, we ask that you bless as well those who will command this ship and all those who will serve under them. May they always be well prepared and ready to sacrifice as their duty demands. Keep them safe and make them always men and women committed to peace, yet ready and able to defend what is good and right and just. Finally, we ask your very special blessing on this ship, wherever the Harvey C. Barnum Jr. might sail, to whatever corner of our globe, to whatever distant port. May it always be viewed as a sign of hope to those who believe in the dignity of humankind, to those who love freedom, and to those who place their trust and their lives in the hands of a good and gracious God. May this powerful ship bring about caution and change the hearts of those who would deny the innate dignity of others, to those who hold power more important than freedom, to those who would take away the privileges and rights of men and women in whatever part of our common globe. Lord, bless each and every mission the Harvey C. Barnum Jr. will undertake. May they all be under your guidance and care. We ask all these blessings through Christ our Lord.
Thank you, Abbot Cooper. We would like to thank the American Originals Fife and Drum Corps, the President's own United States Marine Band, the United States Marine Barracks, Washington, D.C., and the United States Navy Ceremonial Guard Battalion, Joint Color Guard, and the Naval Station Norfolk Saluting Battery for their support today. Additionally, we wish to thank Commander, Naval Surface Force Atlantic, Rear Admiral Joseph Cahill, Commander, Naval Surface Group Mid-Atlantic, Commodore Brian Carmichael, Naval Station Norfolk Commanding Officer Captain Ray Glenn and their incredible staffs for their support of this event. And last but not least, we want to acknowledge Ms. Mary Ellen Baldwin and Captain Louis Shager and the entire USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr. Commissioning Committee. Thank you all. Your devotion has helped make our ceremony possible. Will the guests please be seated? Ship's company. Parade. Rest. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Bobby Scott.
Good morning. It's an honor to join all of you as we celebrate the commissioning of the USS Harvey Barnum Jr. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to Virginia's 3rd Congressional District, where I'm proud to represent thousands of the nation's best shipbuilders. Today, we mark not only the addition of a powerful new ship to our fleet, but also an opportunity to honor a legacy of extraordinary service. Colonel Harvey C. Barney Barnum, Jr., a Medal of Honor recipient and Vietnam veteran, exemplifies the very best of our nation. From his commission as a Marine Corps officer in 1962 to more than 27 years of distinguished service, including 2 tours in Vietnam, he led with courage, integrity, and unwavering commitment. His leadership extended beyond the battlefield. He shaped the operations of U.S. Central Command and later served as Deputy Assistant Secretary for Navy Reserve Affairs and also as Acting Assistant Secretary for the Navy. Even in retirement, he has continued to serve through work with veterans and law enforcement organizations. So it is fitting that the Arleigh Burke-class destroyer bears his name. Ships like this are essential in maintaining our maritime superiority in ensuring the readiness of our Navy and Marine Corps. And as the proud representative of Norfolk and as a member of the Congressional Shipbuilding Caucus, I know that we will continue to invest in the strength and readiness of our Navy and Marine Corps and our service members, and today's commissioning is certainly evidence of that investment. So congratulations, Colonel Barnum, and thank you to the shipbuilders, the Navy and Marine personnel, and your families for your service to our nation. Thank you and welcome to today's ceremony.
Thank you, Representative Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vince Dickinson.
Good morning. Distinguished guests, Commander Cantu, crew of the Harvey C. Barnum Jr., Colonel Barnum, Ms. Hill, Secretary Phelan, Admiral Kilby, Commandant Smith, family and friends. It is my distinct privilege to represent the 7,000 men and women of General Dynamics Bath Iron Works who helped build this beautiful ship. Our company has been building ships for more than 140 years. Our legacy is the latest chapter in over 4 centuries of shipbuilding along the banks of the Kennebec River in Maine. Ships built by BIW have developed a reputation among the sailors who have served on them. Bath built is best built. We work tirelessly to be worthy of our reputation by demonstrating each and every day our commitment to safely executing high-quality work. BIW has built 40 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. Producing these magnificent ships takes the dedication and hard work of hundreds of thousands of hours of engineering, design and planning, ship fitting and welding, outfitting of pipe, cable, ventilation, insulation, applying thousands of gallons of paint, testing and activating the ship, partnerships with world-class system manufacturers like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, General Electric, and Rolls-Royce. And of course, our supervisor of shipbuilding to inspect and accept the ship on behalf of the Navy. To all the men and women who put their heart and soul into this incredible and complex ship, we salute you for your commitment to your craft. This ship represents a tremendous investment in the safety and security of our nation, and I have great confidence that this Bath-built ship in the hands of our U.S. Navy sailors will excel in its mission of protecting our country and our families. Godspeed, USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dickinson. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral James Kilby.
Well, good morning, everyone. Representative Scott, Secretary Phelan, Commandant, Medal of Honor recipients, industry partners, pre-commissioning unit Harvey C. Barnum Jr. crew members, sailors, Marines, government civilians, past and present, and your families. Thank you very much for being here today. I'm especially honored to be here with Colonel Barnum and his wife, Martha Hill, who is also the ship sponsor, and their multitude of family and friends. Your presence today speaks so much to your relationship and commitment to them. This is a great day for the U.S. Navy. The need to build great ships like the Harvey C. Barnum Jr. is as clear today as it ever has been. Since 2023, when the campaign against the Houthis in the Red Seas began, the nation has called upon the Navy to conduct combat operations around the globe, and the U.S. Navy has answered. From the Caribbean to the Indo-Pacific to the Middle East, sailors on ships like Harvey C. Barnum Jr. are standing the watch, defending the homeland and deterring aggression. Soon, this crew and the ship will join their ranks as the 14th DDG, named after a U.S. Marine, and the 6th named after a Medal of Honor recipient. Our Arleigh Burke-class destroyers are crewed by committed, world-class sailors and equipped with the Aegis combat system, the world's best and most lethal combat system. Since USS Arleigh Burke, DDG-51, commissioned in 1991, our nation has consistently called upon our DDGs to sail into harm's way and to achieve objectives for the joint force and our nation. They are the symbol of modern America Navy power. Given his combat legacy, Harvey C. Barnum Jr. is the perfect name for our newest destroyer. His selfless, sound judgment and calm under pressure as he faced deadly enemy fire in Vietnam served as a model for every U.S. Harvey C. Barnum Jr. crew member. His heroism and courage serve as an inspiration to everyone in the Navy and the Marine Corps. And his continued service as a government civilian and as an advocate for veterans for over 27 years of service in the Marine Corps set an example for everyone interested in a life of service. I would also like to highlight his impact on the ship's crew. He has closely followed with great interest the construction of DDG-124. He was present at all the ship's significant milestones, including keel laying and christening. He even got underway with the commissioning crew last July, and Colonel Barnum is one of only a few people to get underway with a ship that bears his name. Others include Admiral Arleigh Burke and President Jimmy Carter. He made a lasting impression on that crew on that underway. He was all over the ship, from the captain's chair on the bridge to the central control station where we monitored the engineering plant to the Combat Information Center where he fired the first round of the ship's 5-inch gun. That cartridge case of that round is proudly on display in the ship's classroom today. But perhaps the most impactful place he visited was the crew mess, where he engaged in so many of the sailors you see around you today. There he shared stories not only of his experiences, but also experiences of other Medal of Honor recipients who he calls friends. Those lessons are invaluable and lay a strong foundation of culture among this amazing crew. Colonel Barnum, your consistent involvement as the ship's namesake and your close relationship with the ship's crew is important and will influence them well into the future. It means so much to all of us today to have you here. Your presence gives this crew a unique and powerful connection to the legacy they are inheriting and have an honor of continuing. To the crew, take pride in stepping forward with this legacy. As Colonel Barnum would say, charge on.
Thank you, Admiral Kilby. Ladies and gentlemen, General Eric Smith.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for being here today to honor a true warrior, Barney Barnum, a true warrior. And I'm going to deviate from the script here just for a minute because we're often mesmerized by the light blue ribbon that some of these gentlemen and that Barney wear around their neck. But what you don't know is the story behind it. And so that's my job today, is to tell you the story behind it, because Barney won't do it, because he's too humble. So I'm going to read to you his Medal of Honor citation. And this will turn your hair white for those that don't already have white hair. You got to remember that Barney was an artillery officer, was a forward observer, was not an infantry officer. For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, when the company was suddenly pinned down by a hail of extremely accurate enemy fire and was quickly separated from the remainder of the battalion by over 500 meters of open and fire-swept ground, and casualties mounted rapidly. Lieutenant Barnum quickly made a hazardous reconnaissance of the area, seeking targets for his artillery. Finding the rifle company commander mortally wounded and the radio operator killed, he, with complete disregard for his safety, gave aid to the dying commander, then removed the radio from the dead operator and strapped it to himself. He immediately assumed command of the rifle company and moving at once into the midst of the heavy fire, rallying and giving encouragement to all units, reorganizing them to replace the loss of key personnel and lead their attack on enemy positions from which deadly fire continued to come. His sound and swift decisions and his obvious calm served to stabilize the badly decimated units, and his gallant example as he stood exposed repeatedly to point out targets served as an inspiration to all. Provided with 2 armored helicopters, he moved fearlessly through enemy fire to control the air attacks against the firmly entrenched enemy, while skillfully directing 1 platoon in a successful counterattack on the key enemy positions. Having thus cleared a small area, he requested and directed the landing of 2 transport helicopters for the evacuation of the dead and wounded. He then assisted in the mopping up and final seizure of the battalion's objectives. His gallant initiative and heroic conduct reflected great credit upon himself and were in keeping with the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know where we get individuals like Barney Barnum, but we're damn lucky to have them. Because that stuff, that is the stuff that legends are made of. And if you ask a young Marine who Barney Barnum is, they know. They all know. They know his story. They know his tenacity. They know his grit. They know his selfless sacrifice. And after that, he could have walked away, but he didn't. He stayed on to become Colonel Harvey C. Barnum. And he served again and again and again, just like he went back into a fire-swept ground again and again and again. And those 14 or 15 lines of his Medal of Honor citation, I mean, can you just imagine it? The heat, the searing heat, rounds ripping over your head, machine gun fire ripping by your feet, everybody out there on the other side trying to kill you. And yet he stood exposed. Why? To save others, to destroy the enemy, and to save his Marines. I mean, again, who does that? What kind of person does that? A very, very special kind of person. And we're honored today to have several Medal of Honor recipients here with us. And I would encourage all of you to look them up and read their citations, because all of them will turn your hair white. It is an amazing tribute that Barney is still here with us today, because he should have been killed that day. He absolutely should have been killed. By all rights, there's no way that a man who stands up and exposes himself to an enemy battalion's worth of fire survives that attack. But he did, and there's a reason he did, because he had more left to give, and he's still giving. I mean, if you haven't met him, you don't know what you're missing, because he's got a no limited governor on his body. He just continues to give and to give, and he only has one way to go, and that is to charge on. And if you'll hear him say it, and I'm going to ask you to say it, because he's going to ask you to say it, and I'm going to get it in first. So his motto is charge on. And he'll say, if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly bear. You know, be the biggest, baddest thing in town. And that's what he is. He's always been that way. He has always been a true servant leader. He's always been a warrior. In his heart, he is a lethal weapon. And what I would ask you to do, I'm going to say charge on, and you're going to repeat it. And you're going to keep repeating it until you're loud enough for my satisfaction as the Commandant of the Marine Corps. So I want you to do this for Barney. When I say it, I want you to repeat it until they hear you in downtown Norfolk. Charge on.
Charge on.
Charge on.
Charge on.
Charge on.
Charge on.
Yeah, that's most of the way there. I'm going to let Barney finish it off because I don't know that that met his standards. But I am truly grateful to be standing here today on this stage with a living legend, a personal friend and a personal hero of mine, Harvey C. Barnum. And this warship will bear his name. And when the adversary sees it, they're going to put their tail between their legs and they're going to go the other direction, because they're going to know that the crew of this ship carries that charge on mentality. And you don't want to be standing between them and their mission. Because just like Barney, you don't want to be standing between him and his mission, because he'll kill you. He will kill you. He is a steely-eyed killer. Don't let yourself be fooled by the, oh, I'm a nice guy, I'm Barney. Hey, he is a steely-eyed killer, and he has been since he was a lieutenant, since that fateful day in Vietnam. So, Barney, it is a real privilege to get to be here today to honor you, sir. You are a true living legend. You are the stuff that our legends in the Marine Corps are made of. We are so proud to call you a Marine and to call you our friend. Semper Fidelis, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 79th Secretary of the Navy, Mr. John Phelan, the Honorable John Phelan.
Good morning. I always enjoy following the Commandant after a speech. It's one of my favorite things. General Smith, Admiral Kilby, Vice Admiral Perry, Senior Navy and Marine Corps leadership, our partners at Bath Iron Works, the skilled men and women of Hampton's Roads who build and sustain the fleet, the Norfolk community, and distinguished guests. Thank you for being here to bring this warship to life. I also want to recognize our Commander-in-Chief. While he could not be with us today, I thank President Trump for his leadership and his commitment to ensuring American sea power remains dominant in the 21st century and beyond. Under the President's direction, the Department of the Navy is moving with clarity and urgency to deliver the Golden Fleet through three pillars: revitalizing the maritime industrial base, maintaining and enhancing maritime dominance by delivering the fleet of the future, and changing how the Department of Navy does business. His record defense top line is a clear signal to industry and the American people we are making a historic generational investment in naval shipbuilding, and we intend to deliver capability to the fleet with speed. We will work closely with Congress on the budget and NDAA to ensure these investments translate into increased readiness and credible deterrence for our sailors and Marines. To Congressman Bobby Scott, thank you for your continued advocacy and support for our sailors and Marines in Norfolk and across Hampton's Roads. We are honored to be joined by an extraordinary group of Americans who understand the meaning of courage and leadership firsthand. The following Medal of Honor recipients whose service spanned generations of war: Major General James Livingston, United States Marine Corps; Colonel Walter Marm, United States Army; Colonel Paris Davis, United States Army; Lieutenant Colonel William Swenson, United States Army; and Lieutenant Michael Thornton, United States Navy. And also with us, as mentioned earlier, is Commander Everett Alvarez, Jr., who was the first American aviator taken captive in Vietnam after being shot down and became the second longest held U.S. prisoner of war in U.S. history. Gentlemen, your presence reminds us that the standards we celebrate today is not abstract. It is lived, it is earned, and it endures. I also want to recognize the Barnum family, Miss Martha Hill, the ship's sponsor, Miss Lisa Hill Godden, Matron of Honor, Miss Jessica Godden-Senzali, Maid of Honor, Miss Mackenzie Godden, and Miss Hope Hill, who could not be with us today. To all of you, thank you for being part of this moment. Let's give them all a hand. Today we commission the USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr., a warship that carries a name earned under fire and a legacy that demands something of every sailor who serves aboard her. Now let's talk about the legendary Marine this ship is named after, Colonel Harvey Barney Barnum. Few living namesakes ever see their ship commissioned. I believe actually this is the third time. This is the first vessel to bear the name of a Vietnam War Medal of Honor recipient. And sir, we are proud to stand with you here today. Colonel Barnum's actions in the Quai Son Valley during Operation Harvest Moon defines what leadership looks like when everything is on the line. His company was under intense enemy fire. His commanding officer was killed. He was wounded. As combat veterans say, courage is a choice, and Colonel Barnum stepped forward and made that choice. He reorganized his Marines, he rallied his force, and he led a counterattack that turned the tide of the battle. He refused evacuation, he refused to step back. That is leadership under pressure. That is the epitome of courage, and that is the standard this ship now carries forward. The motto, as General Smith said, is charge on. Charge on into uncertainty. Charge on into contested waters. Charge on when the mission demands it most. That is what this ship and crew are built to do. USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr. is the 74th Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer, a Flight 2 Alpha destroyer equipped with Aegis Baseline 9. This ship brings integrated air and missile defense, advanced radar capability, and the increased power required for modern warfighting. She's designed to detect, track, and defeat threats across every domain, air, surface, and subsurface, carry long-range strike, and provide ballistic missile defense. Deploy with MH-60 Romeo Seahawks, extending her reach, enhancing anti-submarine and surface warfare, and will strengthen the maritime kill chain while operating as part of a distributed network force that can fight and win in contested environments. This ship is not symbolic. It is combat power. And today she joins something bigger. The ship and her crew join the President's Golden Fleet, the fleet of the future. This ship represents the high end of our fleet, the proven core of our warfighting advantage at sea, complemented by next-generation battleships on the highest end of the high-low mix, and on the low end, unmanned surface and undersea vessels and new frigates that will have tailored force packages and serve as command and control nodes. Another way, a quarterback for unmanned vessels like the medium unmanned surface vessel. The high-low mix gives combatant commanders increased options and flexibility across multiple missions and theaters simultaneously. The Golden Fleet is rebuilding America's maritime dominance by putting more capable ships in the water, strengthening our industrial base, and ensuring we can fight tonight and win tomorrow. Because to be a superpower, one must be a sea power. USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr. represents exactly what that future looks like. Modern capability, proven design, delivered with precision and discipline, and most importantly, manned by warfighters ready to execute, because platforms don't win wars, people do. Commander Benjamin Cantu, commanding officer, Commander Joseph Mills, executive officer, Command Master Chief Kenson Zacks, and the crew, or as Colonel Barnum calls them, the Grizzlies of USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr. This is your ship now. You've trained for this moment. You've tested this ship across every system, propulsion, combat systems, navigation, and weapons. You have taken her to sea, pushed her to the limits, and proven she is ready. Now you take her forward. You carry her name, you carry her mission, and you carry the legacy of a Marine who never stepped back when it mattered most. Colonel Barnum has been woven into the life of this ship from the start, from construction to sea trials, standing with this crew and firing the first shot from her 5-inch gun. That connection matters because this ship is not just steel and systems. It is a standard of honor, courage, and commitment, a standard of relentless and unyielding leadership, a standard that demands action when others hesitate. And that standard will live in every watch you stand, every mission you execute, and every decision you make at sea. To the Barnum family, thank you. Thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and for sharing this legacy with the United States Navy. And to Colonel Barnum, sir, your example will guide this crew long after today. It will guide them with in the quiet moments and in the hardest moments, because that is the power of a name like yours. It leads, it endures, and now it sails. Courage like Colonel Barnum's doesn't end with one man. It endures in those who carry it forward. To the crew, you are the backbone of the United States Navy. So as you take this ship to sea, remember this. Your mission is simple: deter aggression, defend our interests, and if called, fight and win decisively. That is your charge. Charge on. May God bless you. May God bless the USS Harvey Barnum Jr. and her crew. May God bless the United States of America, and may God bless the Navy and Marine Corps team that defends her. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Phelan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my sincere honor to introduce our namesake, retired United States Marine and Medal of Honor recipient, Colonel Harvey C. Barnum, Jr.
Thank you. Thank you. Please sit down. If I seem a little nervous up here, it's because I have a number of senior officers behind me, and they're wearing swords. You know, over the last couple of weeks, this great country that you and I are fortunate to live in has shown its strength. The successful launch and recovery of the Artemis, the recent rescue of 2 downed pilots. You know, I want to take a little different thrust than the speeches that you've heard, because I want to comment on this mission and what it means to those of us who have worn and now are wearing the uniform. The recovery of the 2 downed pilots was not just a mission. It was a belief. Service members are trained from day one that if they are ever isolated, injured, or find themselves behind enemy lines, someone will come get them. That belief changes behavior. It shapes how pilots fly into contested airspace. It influences how small units, ships, operate under fire. It affects decisions made in moments when hesitation could lose lives. When our sailors and Marines believe that they won't be abandoned, it strengthens trust. It strengthens decision-making and reinforces the will to act when it matters most. Military effectiveness, my friends, is not built on technology alone. It is built on the leadership, trust in shipmates, and trust in the Navy Marine Corps team. Operations like the rescue of the 2 downed pilots reinforce that when sailors and Marines see the military commit enormous resources, especially in hostile territory, to bring 2 Americans home, it reinforces a shared belief we take care of our own. A belief that drives cohesion. It sustains units under stress. It carries families through uncertainty. It also answers the question every Marine and sailor will eventually confront. If something goes wrong, will they come get me? That commitment our country has made to our sailors and Marines and their families does not come without costs. Costs are real, measured in risk, resources, expenses. But inside the sea services, the commitment is clear. Bring people home. It is not an option. It is a commitment. And that belief matters because it shapes how Marines and sailors, the crew of the U.S. Harvey C. Barnum, DDG-124, will operate under pressure. How Marines and fire teams, divisions serving aboard this warship, how they will trust one another to always do the right thing at the right time for the right reasons. How they trust one another and how decisively they will act when it counts. So I've introduced many groups last night, and from the podium today, the XO introduced, who travel great distances to share this commissioning with us. But I didn't get to introduce some of the special guests that joined us today. They were introduced by the XO. But I have one special group that I want to recognize and stand with the families of the crew of D. Now for the crew, who are anxiously waiting for the ship's sponsor, my wife, Martha Hill, to give the command to man the ship and bring her alive. As you bolt up these gangplanks, you'll look back and realize that all the hard work, the hours and hours and hours of training, and the separation from your families was not for naught. You have realized mission accomplishment. You have prepared this dreadnought, this warship, the newest warship in the fleet, to now be titled the USS, United States Ship, Harvey C. Barnum Jr. Mission accomplishment, Bravo Zulu, charge on!
Thank you, Colonel Barnum. Secretary Phelan, sir, I would be honored if you would now place Harvey C. Barnum Jr. in commission.
On behalf of the President of the United States, I hereby place United States ship Harvey C. Barnum Jr. in commission. May God bless and guide this warship and all who shall sail in her.
Thank you, Secretary Phelan. Executive Officer, hoist the colors and commission pennant.
Aye, aye, sir. Ship's company. 10. Huh. The commission pennant in professional national navies began to take form in the late 17th century. All ships at that time were sailing ships, and it was often difficult to tell a naval ship from a merchantman. Navies began to adopt long, narrow pennants to be flown by their ships at the mainmast head to distinguish themselves from merchant ships. The commission pennant will fly continuously until the ship is decommissioned. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. I direct your attention to the ship's mast as we hoist the colors and commission pennant. Quartermaster, hoist the colors and commission pennant.
Aye, aye, sir.
Captain, the colors and commission pennant are flying proudly over USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr.
Very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
I would now read my orders. From Commander Navy Personnel Command to Benjamin Cantu, United States Navy, subject, Bupper's Order Number 0124 of 1 April 2024. When directed by Reporting Senior, detach from present duty and report to Pre-Commissioning Unit Harvey C. Barnum Jr. as Commanding Officer. Upon commissioning of USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr., report for duty as Commanding Officer. Admiral Kilby, United States ship Harvey C. Barnum Jr. is in commission and I am in command.
Very well.
Executive Officer, set the watch.
Aye, aye, sir. Officer of the deck, set the first watch.
Aye, aye, sir.
The officer of the deck is the commanding officer's direct representative, and while on watch is responsible for the safe operation of the ship and crew. The long glass is the traditional symbol of an officer of the deck's authority in a ship of the line. We are honored to have our ship's namesake, Colonel Harvey C. Barnum Jr., with us today. Colonel Barnum will pass the long glass to our first officer of the deck, Lieutenant Calla Lynn Hilliard from Moni, Illinois. The Petty Officer of the Watch is Operations Specialist Second Class Jay Avil from Sandersville, Georgia. The Messenger of the Watch is Yeoman Seaman Judah I. Jones from Annapolis, Maryland. And the Bosun Mate of the Watch is Chief Bosun Mate Matthew S. Barham from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Set the watch. On deck, Section 1.
Sir, the watch is set.
Very well. Captain, the watch is set.
Very well. The spirit of a U.S. Navy warship is the embodiment of her sponsor. Our sponsor, Ms. Martha Hill, has carried on the proud tradition as godmother to this great ship. Martha christened this ship in Bath, Maine on July 29th, 2023, and she imbued this ship and crew with her devotion and loving spirit. Martha, I would be honored if you would give the order to man our ship and bring her to life.
Well, I'll keep this short and sweet. I'm here for one purpose, but I do have a few comments to make, but bear with me for 2 minutes, and I promise we will get this ship live. So I wanted to thank all of our family and friends for coming from around the states to be here with us on this historic occasion. We are so honored that you are here. And as a sponsor of the Harvey C. Barnum Jr., I am so proud to be a Grizzly. I am a Grizzly because I'm a member of this crew, and I love my fellow shipmates. So proud of what they've done over the last few months. The hard work they've done is amazing. They've brought this ship to where it is today, and it was built by the best. The Bath Iron Works, shipbuilders, engineers, everyone that has touched this ship has made it what it is today, and we're so proud of what they did in Bath, Maine. And as the wife of Harvey C. Barnum, we call him Barney, and so that's how I'm going to refer to him. Most of us know him as Barney. So Barney, while he is a national hero, he is my personal hero. He has been with me through the last 8 years in particular, since I had a brain bleed, and he has been with me every morning, every evening, 24 hours a day, being my own private hero. And that gives me such honor to know a person like him, not only what he did in Vietnam, but what he's done for so many others. Saving a woman in a restaurant one time, saving a child from drowning in a pond after he fell through ice. So Barney's service to country is there, but he also has saved his fellow man, and he has made my life much easier over the last 8 years. And he makes an incredible breakfast. So, but I just wanted to also thank the Bath Iron Works people for building this beautiful ship. And I hope that some of them are here today. I know some are probably watching remotely. And also some of our family and friends that were not able to attend are also watching remotely. And we just so wish that you had been here to experience this historic occasion. And I want to say, you know, a commissioning is a moment when this ship, which is steel, is brought to life. It becomes a living thing. And the skills of the shipbuilders and the engineers are all on display for us all to see and to be proud of. These are our tax dollars are at work. But it's more than that. It is a spirit of our nation as it sails the seas of the world. And the seas will see the Barnum from one end to the other, and we want that pride to be instilled in our crew, and I know it is. For the officers and sailors of this ship, you now carry the Barnum name across the world's oceans. Barney has always said that courage is not the absence of fear, but it's the ability to act despite of it. You embody that truth. Your service, your discipline, and your willingness to stand the watch reflect the very best of our nation. Barney and I, as I've said before, and as he has said, are immensely proud of who you are and what you have done and what you will do in the future. And to the families who stand on the home front, your strength, your patience, your support, and your sacrifices on the home front make this day possible. Please know that you are part of this ship's legacy and the story from the very beginning. And to this remarkable crew, from this day forward, you will bring this ship to life. As plank holders, you will begin writing her history. You will carry her legacy, and wherever you sail, the spirit of her namesake, his grit, his humor, his devotion to his Marines and to this country will sail with you. May this ship always be a force of peace through strength. May her crew return home safe from every mission, and may the values she represents endure for generations. For those watching from home, we know you are proud Americans, and again, we thank you for being with us remotely. In closing, we pray that God will keep the USS Harvey Barnum safe, and we wish her fair winds and following seas. May God bless all who sail in her, and may God bless the United States of America. And now, for my reason for being here, Grizzlies, officers and crew of the USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr., man this ship and bring her to life.
Ladies and gentlemen, the crew of USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr. salutes you. We are proud to serve in America's Navy. Harvey C. Barnum Jr., ready, to. Will the guests please be seated? Captain, USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr. is manned and ready.
Very well. Vice Admiral Perry, USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr. is manned and ready and reports for duty, sir.
Congratulations, Captain. This ship was built to fight. And now that you've manned the rails, get her ready and charge on!
Secretary Phelan, sir. Request permission to break your flag, sir.
Permission granted. Break my flag.
Executive Officer, break the flag of the Secretary of the Navy.
Aye, aye, sir. Quartermaster, break the flag of the Secretary of the Navy.
Aye, aye, sir.
Captain, the flag of the Secretary of the Navy is flying over USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr.
Very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Benjamin R. Cantu, United States Navy, Commanding Officer, USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr.
Ship's company, hurried, rest. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, shipmates and friends, thank you for joining us today in the commissioning of the USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr. Thank you, Representative Scott, Secretary Phelan, General Smith, Admiral Kilby, Vice Admiral Perry, Rear Admiral Metcalf, for the unwavering support to our United States Navy. This has been an incredible journey for our crew over the past several years, preparing, training, dedicating our time to learning our craft and our shipboard duties aboard the Navy's newest guided missile destroyer, learning to work along each other as a team. And this wouldn't have been achievable today without the dedication of our Navy leadership to guide and support the ship and crew. To the Navy League of Hampton Roads and the co-chairs of the Commissioning Committee, Mary Ellen Baldwin and Lou Shager, I can't thank you enough for your tremendous support with this commissioning event. Thank you to the dedicated shipbuilders of Bath Iron Works and Bath, Maine, for turning raw steel into this sophisticated warship. The determination and toughness that I witnessed alongside the hard-working shipbuilders in Bath, Maine is unmatched. Building an incredible warship, just not in those beautiful warm summer months, but in the sub-zero wind-blistering winter as well. Thank you to the DDG-51 Arleigh Burke Program Office and the Supervisor of Shipbuilding for your dedication throughout our ship's construction. To the commanding officers and leadership of the warships here on the Norfolk waterfront, who without hesitation supported training opportunities for our crew. Thank you. Now, the amazing couple you see on the stage today, Colonel Barnum and Martha, remind me of what we strive to be as Americans. They exemplify sacrifice through service to their community and our nation. Personally, I never imagined that my Navy career would lead me into the presence of a Medal of Honor recipient. But several years ago, now I found myself into Colonel Barnum and Martha's home. I tell you, there was an immediate sense of energy. The Colonel was hard at work coordinating phone calls. Martha was at her computer sending emails, and they both were making the world move. I immediately understood at that moment that both this retired Marine and Martha had never truly retired from service to the nation. Martha herself serving overseas in the Foreign Service in some exotic and sometimes not so exotic locations. There was always the need to build a new sense of family and community among new people. But her devotion and determination always found a way to fulfill that need. And now, as our ship sponsor and plank owner, she has brought that same sense of family to our ship. Now, as this warship has been brought to life, we accept the profound responsibility that comes bearing Colonel Barnum's name. Every sailor who walks these deck plates will be reminded of what it means to serve with honor, to lead with integrity, and to defend our nation without hesitation. Colonel Barnum has carried a tremendous burden throughout his lifetime. That incredible weight of the Medal of Honor, not only recognizing him for his actions in 1965, but also for those Marines and Navy corpsmen he fought alongside, and for all those who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation. And today, our great ship that bears his name, our crew that stands before you, and our future shipmates that will continue to serve aboard this mighty warship will help carry your name and do everything within our means to help share that burden for the years to come. Thank you, Colonel Barnum. Thank you, Martha. USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr. Attention!
Charge on!
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Harvey C. Barnum Jr., United States Marine Corps, retired.
Throughout my career, if I saw something that went wrong or should have been done differently, I took action. Well, last night, I was supposed to present this Lone Sailor Award. I received it in 2018. And in my remarks, I looked down in the front row and VCNO Bill Moran. I said, Bill, this will go aboard the Barnum and sail the seas around this country as an example of who sailors are, what they're expected of them, and the traditions that go with this Lone Sailor Award. So the sailors, the crew, the officers of DDG 124, the Barnum, I leave this in your hands. And when the going gets tough, take a look at them. And remember what the Lone Sailor stands for. God bless you all. Semper Fi. Charge on.
Will the guests please rise and remain standing for as the Marine Band plays a tribute to Colonel Barnum, followed by the benediction that will be offered by Abbot Cooper.
May the USS Harvey C. Barnum Jr. bring only honor to our nation and our people as it journeys about the world, supporting freedom and dignity for all. We ask all these blessings through Christ our Lord.